the entire stretch. It's about 350 feet of box culvert that they're pouring, the dual box culverts right off the American Canal. And that's scheduled for completion February 18th right now is what they have on their schedule, but the weather's been holding up other than that last couple of days. It was raining up here, but those are the three major projects. Pete, we've got some shotcrete going on and whatnot, but as far as operation down here, running that effluent, which is the important deal, and getting those structures back erected, those are complete.
Yeah, so yeah, this is one where they're putting it under, this part that's underneath their bridge, they're gonna put this underground. Actually, they've got that part in pretty good shape. So.
Yeah, all that's finished. They're working on the transition at the end, right there where past Delta, where it makes a turn. They're doing the earthwork right now, compaction, so they can start pouring the transitions, and that's about 150 feet that they're pouring in there, right around the turn there, yeah, so. But no, the contractor's doing a really good job.
I don't know, is the road open up now?
Which?
The road over the bridge.
Over the bridge?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, in Fayetteville, no.
Oh, in Fayetteville, yeah, no, Fayetteville, no, that'll be about the third week of February. Third week of February, opening, early finish would be about February 14th, but not counting on
Think we should have a celebration?
The ribbon cutting.
Yeah, we bring champagne.
it. But the
East Lake, Jake.
the channel is ready. East Lake, it has been completed. The East Lake extension from I-10 to North Loop, we had three structures, the Mesa Spur Drain, the Mesa Drain, and the Juan de Herrera Branch C. All of those were completed as of last year. They needed to pour the floors on the Mesa Drain. They have done that.
Just East Lake.
Yes.
Is that
The contractor, they've got some ongoing discussions with TxDOT as far as the payment and all that has nothing to do with the district. But as far as Juan de Herrera delivery, we ran water through the box last year, and there were some just punch list items that we addressed with the contractor, and they have taken care of those as of last week. So I think the contractor has till March for as far as their time frame, yes. So they're working on some final items on the actual payment structure. There was some problems there, but that's between them and TxDOT. So all the district facilities are in order and good to go. I think that's it. Yeah, he said the effluent is ready to go down in Vegas.
Yep, no problem, so that's good.
Sounds good. All right, Pedro, you're on.
Well, we started all our major projects, and so we're right here now of release. I got exactly 2 months to complete them, so it's going to be a tight schedule that we'll be running. We continue working on our drains. Right now, I've kind of pulled out all the long reach excavators, and I'm using them for these special projects that we've got going. And but the mowers, the drain mowers, will continue on the drains, all winter. Once I start catching up on some of these other projects, I'll start putting those long reaches back into the drains and put them back into play with the city drains. We've completed the Riverside Canal shotcrete, which was 200 feet of shotcrete. There was a section there that we had done about 2 or 3 years ago. And what we did is we extended the shotcrete 100 feet upstream from the concrete and 100 feet downstream. And there is some pictures there to kind of just give you an idea of what it looks like. This here is Moon Road. That has been completed and it's been turned over back to the city of Socorro. Here we had to order some special pipe again because there's a sewer line under there, so we couldn't drop the pipe to what we usually do. So we had to order some arch pipe, and so we can get the area that we need it for in case of a good storm or water to run through there. And there was 120 feet of pipe that was installed here at Moon Road. And this road has been opened up and it's back up and running. We had a couple of water lines, sewer lines, so that machine you saw there, that was lower valleys, they were compacting under their pipe. This one here, it's, like I said, we continue to work on the drains whenever we can. Most of these machines, you won't see them on the drains here after this week. This is on the river drain, just the event that we need to bypass water down the drain for the riverside, just for any reason, you know, I just wanna make sure we're prepared for it. This is the same drain. And this is a drain up in the upper valley. This is the only machine I got right now in the upper valley that's still working on drains, but again, I will be pulling it. And then, of course, you know, whenever I have a little chance, I'll knock out some of these small problems. This is the 136 over by the Davis Brothers. As you can see how we're losing that net bank, so we went in there and repacked it and poured concrete on it to make sure that we don't run into this situation again. So that's what it looks like after we're done. That's the upstream side, downstream side. That's right at Wingo Reserve Road. Good. This is another one of our unexpected but major projects that we got going. This is the Mesa drain over by the Clinton lateral. Here we need to remove the Clinton lateral that goes over the top of the Mesa drain to be able to replace the pipe underneath. We are working on it already, hoping to knock it out here within the next week or two. And you can see that pipe was pretty far gone. This is just some of the prep work that goes into the drain before we actually go in there and start digging it out and removing. We try to clean everything around there just to make sure we can get the elevations that we need and the grade that we need. We are installing the 60-inch pipe there, and it's about 110 feet, oh no, 115 feet that'll be going in there. Keep going, Jay? This is the Riverside, the project I just spoke about a few minutes ago, where we poured shotcrete above and below the old existing concrete that was done a couple of years back. First we'll go in there and get everything to grade. Took a lot of sand out of there, and then go back in there and shotcrete it. There's the prep work. That's the old concrete that was there.
How much sand's accumulating on the concrete?
There was about a good, about 2 feet, L. Yeah,
So
in
it's
this
all-
area here.
It's all downstream control.
Yeah. You know, and once we start doing a little bit more shotcrete upstream, that we start narrowing this riverside, I think we could speed up the water enough to where we could probably wash it out wasteway too.
Is there any industrial use for that kind of sand, or is it too much silt?
It's too fine.
Yeah, that's got silt too, you know, it's just too contaminated for use for, clean fill is the only thing I know of.
Right. And then some of this sand, I mean, this sand here was pretty clean, but there's some sand that just so dirty that nobody wants it. But I have given a lot of sand to the El Paso Zoo, to the golf courses. They use it for, I guess, for the mounts that they build in the golf. I've never done any golfing, so I don't know.
For the grade, for the sand traps.
The sand traps, I guess, yeah. This is the Franklin Canal. Again, we got 3 of these shotcrete projects that are being done for the pipeline. This is the second one. This one here is actually being poured as we speak. We should be done with it by tomorrow. And then, which is this one here. This one will be done by tomorrow, and then we'll move over to the last one. This is kind of what it looks like when we first get started. So this is where we walk into. We do our shaping, our digging, and get our shots, and then we go back into the shot.
How's that initial shotcrete stuff that we did on the rear side holding up?
It's holding up pretty good. We've had a couple of cracks. We went in there last year and did some repairs on them, but it's very minimal. I mean, it's been holding up really good.
It's real critical, you keep the banks up on that stuff.
Yes. And then this is the other project that we got going. This is over by Presa to Loop 375. This area here will be relocating 2 check structures and shotcreting. It's about 3,000 feet of canal.
That one's a hybrid design with steel in it.
Right.
because of the urbanization issue.
Is that part of the one that's gonna go, is that going underground?
No,
Or is it get closer to 375?
well, it's
Or probably
already,
this section right now. This is where it comes out from Presa,
right.
right by the swimming pool.
Maybe in the future when TxDOT widens, I guess it does, they stopped the construction right at Presa, so once they start with phase 2, they might extend the culvert. They're gonna have to, so they can put shoulders in, so.
So, in order to get started on this, I mean, there was a lot of debris, a lot of rock that was placed at this check. As you can see, tires, they never fail. But there was a lot of cleaning that had to be done prior to us even going in there and trying to shape and get to where we can actually, start shaping these banks and rebuilding them. Here you see that we, this section here, we had to close in the channel some to narrow the floor. We're going with a 40-foot top and a 12-foot bottom to try to speed up the water. And again, this place here, we do have 2 check structures that will be redone. And there's just the process of what it takes. Here is one of the structures. This structure here is the Lowenstein checks. That's going to be moved upstream about 100 to 110 feet. And then it's going to be redone. Once I get them done, I'll demolition them. I don't want to demolition until I'm sure that we're going to be ready for water season. Just in the event that I have to go put gates in during water season, we can still operate. This is all part of the structure here. You can see the machine back there starting to dig out the footings. That was this past weekend. I'm hoping to start laying rebar here by this week. And this part here is probably what takes the longest. Once we get rebar and concrete poured, the walls and everything else goes up pretty quick. The other check structure is the flume checks. Those will be relocated about 350 feet downstream. Try to get them away from Alameda. So these are the larger projects that we got, and I got faith that we will get them done. Any questions?
Just so the board knows, the Riverside project, the first project that Pete showed you all, that also Mary sent an invoice to, what was the gas company's name?
Roadrunner.
Roadrunner, they owed us an additional $82,000. So we'll be getting a check for that, for completing that concrete line.
And the one we're working on right now, I think is what?
45.
45,000.
Yeah, for some reason Comanche paid us in advance.
Yeah.
Roadrunner, we.
And once we get these done, we do have another section up by Delta, the one Al was talking about earlier. And I'm waiting for the contractor to finish with the outlets, so I can go out and kind of finish my prep work to do the shotcrete from where they end up to the tracks. To the railroad tracks, which is about another 200 or 300 feet.
Yeah, just finish that part. We're working on, coming up with, it's very difficult over there. That's some of the oldest, some of that goes back to our deeds that got transferred to the district from the Franklin Canal Company in 1856. Trying to figure out how they got the King of Spain to give them that land and a few other things, but it goes way, it does go back to the Spanish grant. But we have 2 culverts downstream of there. We're not gonna address them this year that desperately need to be replaced. They have spur tracks over the top of, but it appears that we own those. But it's so difficult to figure out what's gone on over there. So many changes have occurred in those years. And so we're taking the position that we were there before them.
There's still enough land, y'all have to provide water, right? Or we have to provide water.
That's actually the Franklin Canal, right at the heading.
Yeah, and there's still enough land.
Oh, yeah, but, yeah, we're just trying to see who's responsible to pay for the replacement of the structure. So, right now, our position is that the railroad's responsible, it's that they have licenses from the reclamation, right?
Right. Expired.
They're expired, so that means that it's, we
They
can,
actually had an expiration date.
09? It was 59, these were executed in 1959.
the structure was put in the 20s, didn't we decide?
Yeah, I think it was 1925 or something.
25. So it's gonna be a fairly slow process. That'll be on next year's plan to fix. That'll be, it's been a problem area for 80 years.
It needs to be done because it just knocks the alignment of the Franklin Canal. One of the cylinders is completely plugged up, the other one's halfway, it's just so crooked.
Causes it to silt up.
Yeah, they've got it, it's not aligned with the flow, so you can't get any streamlining of the sediment, and it just has those eddies that just drop. It's like cyclones, like on a cotton gin, it just extracts the sand.
No questions?
All right, Pete, good job, man, keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
We're gonna start the water March 1st, you ready?
No, he's not.
All right, 4 foot Robert.
You never thought we were gonna say that again, huh?
That was a stretch.
We just started calling them 48, we go by inches here.
Don't really have much to say other than what Pete said. We've got a lot of work to do out there to get ready for water, but like we're saying, hopefully with the release on Friday, we found out for the past couple of years, we're releasing on Friday, the water gets here by Monday. Where before, we used to release it on Monday and the water get here like on a Friday, and we would tackle it during the weekend. So last year, the past 2 years, it worked out pretty good. So with the water getting here, that'd be great. The one thing that I'm gonna bring to your attention, February the 5th, we'll start putting the water in the system for return flow. One thing about the return flow this year, it ain't gonna be as much as we have in the past because we will not have the water that's in the Rio Grande because they're doing construction in Marion Canal, so it's gonna be a little bit less return flow. It's gonna have to be a little careful with it, so might, even if we give them the 2 inches, some of these farmers can go in there and they can control it for 30 days. So my thinking is we're just gonna have to do a little bit like Custer County and Danny, give them the maximum if everybody a week, and then to get, so everybody can get a chance.
We found it that way over the last few years.
Yeah, and in case somebody wants it, then we'll come back and hit people up, but mainly we're gonna do like what we've done. We'll wait for the acre gather up on the Citadel, we'll go in there, wipe them out, and then we'll get out. And because it's gonna be return flow is gonna be a very short period. The green people are not gonna be asking water until about the 5th of March, and by that time, they can almost get ready for allotment, so. Just kinda letting you know, Lucid, we're gonna be restricting the farmers. They might not like it, but, you know, to give everybody equal chance for some water.
We've got another part of that return flow, we've got to test all the wells to, each year, we're trying to do it more methodically so we know which ones might need to have the bowls replaced, because they're all getting old. And we get a replacement program for the last 3 years. So I talked to Robert about that, since I need to do that. I really need to run those pumps for a day or two to get the data on them. But we don't want to waste the water, so we thought we'd try to coordinate it with where he's delivering return flows, and we test those wells as he's got water in those areas. So you'll see them running, they'll be we're trying to keep them in areas you got water, not to waste it. Occasionally you may see one that we just don't have any deliveries in and I gotta turn on, but don't think that we're powering up all the wells. We're just trying to get the water level, get the static level before we turn them on, and then we'll go back and see how efficient the well is on each one, to see if it's economical to replace the bowls or whether we're spending, how much diesel we're spending for every acre foot, which we did that once before.
Put more diesel in than get water.
Yeah.
They haven't been run since, what, we only ran them last year?
We ran them last year, but,
It was April and May, and that was
right.
it. So they've been almost a year since they've really run, so just to see what kind of problems occur on them and see what happens.
You better run no problems on the well.
Well, plus the screens get corroded up.
I would ran mine twice.
Yeah.
So, on return flow, Larry, early bird gets the worm, so we're gonna go in there, and there's a couple of acres, but some of the farmers in Unit 6, some of Unit 7, they're very excited because they're gonna get a little water a little earlier than the past, and they said that Unit 7 said they never get the water, so this year they're, like you're saying, there's gonna be a couple of more acres in there, especially Unit 7, that they haven't farmed, so let's see what happens. But everything's looking positive. The next thing is we got I already gave the schedule to print out the return flow schedule. I'm gonna go ahead and make it with 10. but we only put out the eight, but we wanna do something a little bit different this year. As soon as the water gets here, I'm not gonna have no small tracks for the first 3 weeks, so we can get the cotton and the pecan people out of the way. And after the third week, we'll start hitting their small tracks. And then we got their schedule all set up, ready to go. We'll get it all the way up to August and then see what happens. That's it?
Okay, Robert.
Very short.
Our vacation's almost up.
Never started.
Go back to work. They would go on
You
vacation.
got Christmas Day off.
Then Pete can go on vacation.
Yeah, well, Pete's over the vacation.
Just remember that.
Yeah, write that one down. We got a record of it.
That's what he always tells me.
Okay.
Nah, he works hard to get it done.
We need to do number 10 since we made this one.
Yeah, if you will, we're going to the farmers meetings, and historically, you've asked us to, you wanna talk about that in executive session,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
about making an allocation related to legal issues?
Yeah. That's-
Your water deliveries on those contract,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You need to talk about that in closed session? Something's changed?
You don't have to. It's up to you
Is
guys.
something changed?
No, it's just
No.
making you aware of all the legal implications of it.
We're aware of that. We got more now, we got
I mean, this is,
San Ellie, City of San Ellie.
this is, insurance issues and things like that. It's up to you guys. I don't think anybody's gonna sue us over it, but that's up to the attorneys to make it.
You can't sue us. We're autonomous. Unless you've got somebody driving one of our trucks, right?
Well, yeah, some of it are involved, so.
Well, it's up to you. If you think we need to talk about it in closed session, I don't know what you're talking about, so.
Oh, well, let's do it, legal stuff in closed session, is all right.
Okay, we'll do that in closed session, and we can come back later to be the same allotment, I assume.
So we need to make that allocation again.
This is to the contract.
This contract, okay.
No, it's both, we do it all in one.
It's both, yeah.
Sharon's got
So
some
we
standard
just
language.
talked about 3.5, but we didn't really do anything, right?
I recommended 3.5.
But we didn't-
Robert
we
recommended.
didn't take action. Right.
And gentlemen.
Oh, we did?
Oh, oh, he did.
Did we take action on the 3.5?
Yeah, we did. That was already a
Oh,
vote.
we
You
did?
made a motion.
I made the motion. That got-
Well, then it's too late, I don't need to talk to you in executive session, we're done.
Well,
We made the allotment, but this is the contract.
Yeah, but that was really, some of these contracts just flow through off that allotment.
So it's been done.
It's been done. We will make the allotment, because once you make it to the area level lands, the contract's required to be made. We stated in the resolution what it is, I'll calculate those numbers. So let's table that item, and we won't need to discuss
We'll have to
it.
decide the price of that,
You gotta do that, it's at the price.
but not today.
No, we're not gonna make any deliveries of it for a while, so it's up to you.
I mean, it's not in the agenda, I don't think so. I guess we put the agenda, I suppose we need to talk about the price. Okay, applications for license.
Okay, 11A, we have a renewal of a license from the Apple El Paso Electric. This is the district-wide license that they use to maintain and operate their electrical system that does not cross any of the district facilities. So essentially, power poles and power lines that run parallel and adjacent to the district facilities. Rather than them grab a ladder and go walk through the yard, they find it more appealing to drive their truck to the bank and set up shop. And we've gone over the procedures, they're in place as far as, how they mobilize and place, their outriggers and all that, and they've been following really well. It's helped them tremendously, and we first did this 2 years ago, and we renewed it last year for another year.
What's the price, Tim?
It's, this last year was at $20,000 for a 1-year operation.
The reason we're doing one-year licenses is to, first year was at 10,000, and we came back and said we didn't think that was enough. We looked at Rick's hours, he has to go out there.
In comparison to what they charge to do their work,
That's not good enough.
Well, our goal is to make sure they don't damage our facilities and that it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything for them to do this. And so 20,000, we feel that we're in good shape.
And they're almost on there, almost daily.
Yeah, and they, yes, every week, and, you know, they contact and notify us 48 hours prior, so we go.
We do it by region, they do by areas, so we go inspect before and after, so we're not out there every day inspecting them. They may be working out there in the area, but we come in before and we come in after.
We visited their shop and explained the procedures to supervisors, and then they finally got the procedure down.
the only question is the price. Is everybody happy with the 20,000, or do you think it needs to be 200,000?
Or 100,000.
That, and they also asked, I guess, if the board would consider a
5-year license?
5-year term.
Yeah, and I don't recommend that because we're evaluating the impacts on us each year. I recommend the $20,000, it's trying to.
I would,
Just for information, last.
If you wanna go into legal, I'll be glad to get an attorney
We
to take us.
proposed 10,000 and you doubled it to 20,000?
I think we should double it again.
We ought to do it again.
I think stay
No,
consistent.
I think we're probably all right, but we need to develop some kind of contract where they pay every year with some accelerators. No, we don't have to revisit it, you think?
We can do that. We can do this one if you wanna
It
do
needs to
that
be a
one.
lot more than 20,000. I mean, that's a
Absolutely.
huge benefit for those people, and they charge out there.
You know, and I understand that, and we're under the Open Meetings Act, that's a perfect one for us to discuss in closed session, because that's evaluation of your real estate. We need to do
Well,
that.
we're not doing it
Well,
today.
Okay. Well, it's on the agenda, it can be, it's on closed session.
No, I understand that, but we're not going to talk about price, but I think we're talking about doing the 20,000 now. Look towards developing, so we don't have to revisit it every year, with some kind of a decent remuneration for what the benefit is to them, plus some accelerators.
Yeah, and they're open to doing that right now, so I would like to discuss that with you guys in closed session about how to do that.
but not necessarily approve the amount yet, just discuss.
You want to discuss that in post?
Right, because they've requested of this board to consider doing a multi-year contract at this time, so if we're gonna do that, and you want accelerators on it, and you want,
Well, like we do
additional.
all contracts now.
Sure.
Or, well, every contract's a little bit unique, but many contracts we have accelerators, right? So, but we need to get some parameters on that, and that's issues that we would normally discuss in closed session, because it has to do with the value of real estate.
Well, we can discuss it, but I think we need to go ahead and approve what we've got here. That's a future item that we need to work on. We can go ahead and approve this based on,
Well, but what I'm saying is this year they came to us with a special request to do what you just asked us to do in the future, so we might as well do it this year. They've asked us to do
On
it.
a-
you don't need action right now.
We can do it when we come back out of executive session. I can get it done, but that fast. I don't- If you wanna do a 1-year license, I'm okay with
Well,
that.
I'd like to, Jay brought up a good point, an interesting point there. I don't know what the word you use, but they just do whatever they want on our ditches. Are they still doing it?
No.
And
Oh, no,
is there
no,
arrogance,
not at all.
or-
We
or-
receive
or is this,
48 hours
is
notice.
this a mechanism that's keeping them from doing it? I mean, elaborate a little bit.
There is a procedure in place that we detailed in the license, notification prior, how they mobilize their outriggers, and they put the bearing pads, and, they leave it in how they found it, or obviously in better shape than how they found it. We go inspect,
So based on this agreement, it's helped, I'm assuming?
tremendously,
Okay.
tremendously, because previously, we noticed damages to the banks, and we're like, what's happening, because they would just be going on there. And, it's education, like everything else, we visited their headquarters, and we gave a brief presentation on just a briefing on how the procedure, this is gonna work, and spoke with the supervisors, they channeled it down to the linemen, and it's been in place for 2 years now, and it's been working great, the notification, so they're all well aware of.
No, I just want to make sure that was the case. I just want to make sure that this is
That
working.
used to be the case, because we're like, how are these being damaged, and it was their outriggers, were they just taking chunks of the bank, and we're like, how is this happening, and we finally caught on, and we put a stop to it, and we closed gates, and now they're requesting access, so that's how it came to be, this annual license, so they're.
And they don't do much damage as long as they have parameters to what they.
Right.
what you allow them to do.
And if they do, they repair it.
Yeah.
They're just licensed. They're obligated to repair it.
But it's a huge benefit to them.
Absolutely. And that's why they said, you know.
So, I mean,
fine.
you wanna talk about developing the contract between now and next year, or you wanna try to do it now?
I can write the contract with the parameters, we have similar contracts, we can do it today and.
We're gonna have to establish value and all that stuff. I think we need to take a little more time. Let's do this year and work towards next year.
Sounds good.
Because I think there's a lot of things that need to be considered, and I mean, it's gonna take some time to develop, I think.
Right, and you need to hear some of the things that I'll tell you, about legal issues we need to talk about
And,
developing that.
Also, if we haven't already done so, with this new program we have, we'd love to track the hours and see how much actually we get spent on.
Oh, we have that, yeah.
Okay, so that should be an easy.
Yeah, we get the calls and we open a file and, you know, we.
Cost coded or something?
No, we do it, I like to do it, Miguel, just tell Rick that, and Dave, David, that they need to, when they put their timesheets in, they need to sign them to jobs.
Exactly. That way, it's a no-brainer, we know how much to do with spending and.
Let's go ahead and get this out of the way for this year, and we can talk about the issue you're talking about, closed session. We're going in closed session shortly, to give you some ideas of where we need to go.
For next year.
Yeah, for developing the contract.
You think we should go a little bit up, John?
I think so.
Don't you?
I think so. I think they'll be on the t-shirt.
Just give them that good feeling.
Keep them, got their attention when we started.
The more houses are built around.
Guys, you guys need to get legal advice on some issues, okay?
We're out of control.
And if the lawyers don't wanna do it, I'm gonna tell you.
Well, let's just table it.
Still want to table it, or?
I'm okay with the 20,
Close session.
or we talk about it in close.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Director, I think maybe we can just close it out in closed session and then come back in on a.
Yeah, we don't have to do it right now if you want to discuss all of it. Yeah, we got some people thinking it needs to be up this year, so let's talk about closed session and we'll make our,
Okay.
we'll do something with it when we come out.
Okay.
Just,
Now's got that
just to give you guys a reminder, our process, and it's been on this agenda for this time, everything that's under 11 is in closed session. So they obviously have to be on both, so you can take action. But it wouldn't be unreasonable to say that we don't discuss any of these items until we go into closed session, and then we discuss them as we come back out. So you can receive advice of Mr. Rollins, because these are all real estate contracts that are allowed.
Some of them are straightforward now.
I know, some of them you don't, that's why we don't go into closed session.
They're straightforward, it's like the next one.
Right, so, okay, application 1949, this was actually in front of y'all in July, and the board considered it and approved it. This was a home at 6680 West Side Drive, and per the resolution stated in the minutes, after 60 days, the license became null and void because of action that was failed on the applicant's behalf. I guess they didn't bring it back signed and didn't bring any fees. They haven't closed on the property, so they brought in the fees and are eager to move forward now. So we've placed it on the agenda to fulfill the 60-day period that has passed, so.
You recommend approval?
Yes, I
Do
recommend.
I hear a motion to approve application 1949? Harvey Dar makes a motion, Larry seconds, all in favor say aye. 1988, 89?
And 91.
And 91.
So Conterra continues their contract with El Paso ISD and Socorro ISD, so they are continuing to run their fiber optic cable system from on El Paso electric poles across various laterals and canals and drains the district owns. So they've submitted all proper documentation, and the engineering recommends these three applications for approval.
So moved.
Okay, McGill makes a motion to approve those three applications.
The three of them?
You bear, just three, 1988, 89, and 91, they're all the same thing, just a different.
second them.
Okay, and our seconds, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Well, I think we need to go into closed session. We're taking care of all the nitty-gritty up to that point.